Hi friends! So today I'm going to be talking about Revenant, which is the sequel to Reverie by Z. Laxon. I read the first book, and so now I'm going to be starting the second one and taking you along with me as I read through it. I'll be giving short summaries after I finish certain chapters and talking about how I'm liking it as I'm reading it. So I'll read the back for you just so you know what it's about. London Evans thought she was just an ordinary teenager navigating an ordinary life of high school drama and family responsibilities. That was until her ordinary life was interrupted by extraordinary dreams, dreams that were real. Like Ethan, the mystery boy with a strange accent and golden green eyes, he was just once a part of her reoccurring dreams. Then he showed up at her doorstep, very real. Now London needs to learn how to navigate this new world of dreams and reality. If she doesn't, she risks both worlds. What once were dreams have become nightmares, and she has no way of stopping them. So this is basically picking up where the last book left off. This is obviously going to be spoilers for the last book. The last book ended with London basically finding out from her father that her mother had the same gift of being able to connect to people through dreams, and that's actually how her mother and father met. And also, the plot twist at the end of the book is that Ethan shows up at her doorstep, and he is very real. He's from New Zealand. And so I think that this book is going to be talking about their relationship, talking about how London is basically handling her newfound abilities, and just dealing with all of these things. So I'm going to pick this up and I'll let you know the next time that I have an update. Okay, bye. Okay, I think it's time for an update. I've read about 100 pages. I'm this far of the way through now. And so what's happened so far is we've introduced London and Ethan again. Ethan has gotten to actually meet the entire family, so all of her brothers and her dad, sort of getting to know everyone. Meanwhile, London is having these, what she's describing as nightmares, where she sees this homeless woman on the streets who's asking her for help. And we don't have any context as to what's going on there. Brienne has taken them to see Drew's mural that he did, his artwork, and he talks about the two peas in the pod and how it represents soulmates, like platonic soulmates, non-romantic soulmates. And so that's pretty much it as far as what's happened in the book. I'm liking it so far. I feel like we've introduced a little bit of conflict. I forgot to mention one important thing. Because Thanksgiving is coming up, Chase, one of the brothers, is coming into his house based off wherever he was before. So he's flying in, and he's supposed to be bringing this girl. They don't really know who, but he's bringing a date. And then he shows up, and it is in fact Philip, who is not a girl. And so Philip is introduced to the family, and they sort of test him by asking, Dad tests him by asking what kind of car he likes. And so he's like, okay, my son can pick someone with good taste in cars, even if my son doesn't have good taste in cars. So that's sort of the approval that we get. And so yeah, that was a really sweet scene. I'm curious to see what happens if Ethan leaves in this novel, or if this is just the span of the time that they spend together over the week. I'm curious to see if her and Ethan face any sort of conflict in their relationship. We had a tiny bit of conflict with Brienne and London because she initially forgot about Drew's art exhibit, and so she's been so wrapped up in everything coming about with Ethan that she completely forgot that her friend Drew has this really big art thing coming up, and it's not just a school project, it's something he's doing outside of school that's getting publicity and press. And so yeah, that's where I'm at so far. I've been enjoying it. I'm going to continue reading it, but probably not today. I think I'm going to put it down for the day, but it's a very quick read, so I'm curious to see how long it actually ends up taking me. That's pretty much all I have to say so far, just as a general update and a summary and things that I'm liking. I think that in general, the writing can be, it's like a romance novel, and so the writing can be cheesy, and sort of cliche at times, but that's nothing that I really hold against the author. I think that's sort of part of the genre is it can be perceived as really cutesy or it can be perceived as cheesy. I think it really depends on the person, and it's a fine line to walk. But besides that, the writing is good. The teen speak is pretty accurate. Again, there are some lines that are a little bit iffy, but like they don't take me out of the story necessarily. So I'm liking it so far. I'm curious to see what updates I have after this, but that's pretty much all I have to say. Bye. Hi friends. Okay, I think it's time for an update. So I know I said last time that I think I was going to finish reading for the day. I changed my mind. I ended up getting up to about 200 pages, so I'm this far of the way through, and a lot of things have happened. So plot-wise, Brienne had her Thanksgiving, or her Friendsgiving party after the family celebrated Thanksgiving, and all of them went over, and she ended up breaking up with her boyfriend Tristan. He came to the party sort of unannounced and was like yelling at her, and they had this big fight and ended up breaking up. And then the big plot device that we've found out is that the woman that London has been seeing in her dreams is actually her mother from when she died. So then after London makes this realization when they're decorating their Christmas tree, she sees this Polaroid of her mom and sort of has this flashback to her dreams that she's been having and makes the connection, and then she ends up passing out. And so then she sits down with her father and asks him specifically how her mother died. And so the father basically says that there was this one night during winter when Linda was 9 months old, and the mom went out and left the boys, her 3 older brothers, with the sitter, next door neighbor, and was just running out for this last minute errand and then never came home. And she took London with her. And so dad is waiting up the whole night. He's called everyone. Nobody knows where she is, and is waiting the whole entire night for her to come home. Then eventually the next day, the police find her, and they find out that during the snowstorm, her car battery died and broke down, and she died trying to keep London warm, and eventually she's the reason why London survived. And so that's what we figured out so far. We also have found out that Ethan's stay has been extended from 1 week to 2 additional weeks, so 3 weeks in total. So we have some more time with Ethan. I'm thinking he's probably going to be present for the rest of the book, based off where it's gone so far. I'm curious to see where they're taking this sort of thing with the mother, because she's sort of asking for help and saying something about her baby, her daughter, trying to keep her warm. It's always really cold when London is in these dreams. So we're trying to figure out, like, is this an alternate universe? Is this London traveling back in time? Like, what's going on with this whole situation? So yeah, that's what I've read so far. I'm curious to see how the book ends. I'm going to probably just breeze through the end of this book and then let you know my final thoughts and what I was sort of feeling and thinking about this book. So yeah, I'll see you later. Bye. Hello friends, I literally just finished this book, like less than a minute ago I read the last page, and I do have lots of thoughts to share. So based off where I left you guys last time, they essentially end up figuring out that London thinks that her mom is in Chicago, and so she books last minute flight to Chicago in order to see if she can find her. She does end up finding her mom sort of in this flickering state her dad frantically followed after her and also booked a flight, and then she was staying with one of her brothers who was in the city. He like went and picked her up at the airport and was super mad with her. Ethan goes along as well. And so basically they find the mom, they get to have this little reunion and actually say their goodbyes, and she gets to see London at 17 years old, and it's just like, it was just a really good ending. I feel like it wrapped up the story really well. The mom gestured to Ethan and was like, "Who is this?" And London explained that she found him in her dreams, and her mom was super supportive of that, obviously, because she has the same gift. And it was just a very sweet story. It's a sweet story. It's a quick read. It's entertaining. It has enough tension in it. I was really surprised that they didn't take any sort of, like, they didn't create any sort of tension or conflict within the relationship between Ethan and London, but honestly, I'm kind of okay with it. It's just a cute, fluffy romance that's a sidestep to the overall plot of the book. I also like the twist at the end with Brienne ending up with Drew. I thought that was really sweet. Drew is like one of my favorite characters, and although I think that her and Ethan are really good together, I could also see London with Drew, and I'm really happy that Brienne is with Drew. He did good in this book. Drew stepped it up. He got extra cookie points in this book. So, yeah, I don't really know if I have that much else to say. I would recommend this book to other readers. I will be keeping my copy. I would consider rereading it again. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you're looking for something quick and easy, I'd recommend the first book. This is a sequel, obviously. So the first book, and then after that, read this one and tell me what you think. So yeah, that's all I have to say. This was just a quick 24-hour reading vlog, and I'll see you next time, okay? Bye.